This is probably one of the most important things you could ever go over. Do not skip that. That is so important. You're gonna be shocked to hear this, but the statement, "I don't get enough done," actually sets you up for complete failure from the start. You might just honestly be wasting your life away. One of the deadliest sayings you're telling yourself constantly every day is, "I never get enough done." But what makes this deadly? The National Institute of Mental Health states roughly 40 million Americans struggle with anxiety disorders. That's 1 in every 5 adults in a room. Now, this boosts our chances of having heart disease by up to 60%. That's just from high blood pressure and hypertension alone. But let me ask you something. If you could look at your list of all the stressful things you think and say to yourself every day, and you completely annihilated one of them from your life, in theory, that should lower your blood pressure because you're causing less stress on yourself. Makes sense? So I'm about to share with you my formula that I've used that's really helped me gain control over my thoughts and actually accomplish a lot in the day. Step 1 is embracing clarity in moments of doubt. The truth is, if you're saying to yourself all the time, "I didn't get enough done," you're not seeing things clearly. So recently I went through something so stupid, so dumb, but because I had this formula, it really helped me. I only stressed for probably like 30 seconds and then I was good. I wanted to hit 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I sacrificed a lot of time and energy into this thing. And I just wanted to work so badly. And this one week I felt so down because I'm used to getting a certain amount of subscribers, but that week, I lost subscribers. I was just looking at my page and I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? I went for a walk and I'm like questioning starting this thing. It's scary, it's new, and I don't feel in control. But what was funny that I didn't account for was that same month was actually my best YouTube month ever. And it made me realize that I had my worst week in my best month. And it hit me. I thought about all the times in my life where something like that happened. I had my best day in my worst month or my worst day in my best month. And the same goes for weeks, months, years, days. And it's just, you can't let the day define you. If you're focusing so much on how much you get done in the day, it doesn't really mean anything if you zoom out just a little bit, because this one day may not be very helpful, but if you pay attention to your week, you might have actually had a really strong week. So my advice for this is not something I made up, but it's when in doubt, zoom out. Acknowledge every single thing you do that you accomplish, no matter how small. Because if you don't acknowledge what you're doing right, you'll put it in the same mental box with the things you do wrong. And that's just dumb, because then you can't really acknowledge what you're doing right and you can't build off of that. Plus, come on, you worked really hard, so why not acknowledge the things you do? So even though you didn't go from point A to point B today, you might have made the bridge today for your tomorrow self to cross. I challenge you to do this as a 1-week challenge. It will change your life. Number 2, transform your busy work into actual meaningful progress. You're gonna be shocked to hear this, but the statement, "I don't get enough done," actually sets you up for complete failure from the start. Look, the goal isn't to do as much as possible, because that could just be busy work. Let me ask you, do you know the difference between busy work and things that actually move the needle? And are you doing those things? Because if your goal is just to do busy work and you set those expectations to be up here and to do all of them, you might just honestly be wasting your life away. And you may not believe this, but busy work is also a form of procrastination. I know there have been times where I've wanted to take on this big, new, scary task that's exciting, but I didn't know how to do it. So I would put it off and justify to myself, hey, it's okay because I'm doing all these other little things I needed to do anyways. But in reality, I didn't really need to do them. They were just productive things that were just busy work. So my advice here is to reframe this mindset you have and to actually think of a real question that's actually going to change your life, which is, what's the one thing that I can accomplish today that will actually move the needle? By doing this, you're getting really clear on what you want from the day, and you can know that you're not doing busy work, because your goal is to actually accomplish something, move forward, instead of just be busy. A great example of this is, imagine people going into a car to go to work, right? And then you jump on a treadmill to go to work. And you think, well, hey, I'm busy all day, so I must be going somewhere. I'm burning all these calories, but you're basically just wasting your time being busy, burning yourself out for almost no reason. A car gets you from point A to point B, but a treadmill just keeps you moving. Don't make your main vehicle mindset a treadmill, okay? I also want you to get clear on what this looks like for you. Look at the end goal you want to achieve and then reverse engineer it, which basically means work backwards. What did that step need prior to that? and then keep going all the way until you get to the point you're at right now. So no matter what, even if you don't try that hard this year, you're going to perform better next year, as long as your goal is to progress. And do yourself a favor. As someone with ADHD, I know the 0% or 100% mentality where it's like, I'm either going all in on this or I'm not doing it at all. Just drop that. If you aim to just be consistent, even by a little bit every day, it will change your life compared to waiting for some perfect moment to make things happen. Because the perfect moment really doesn't come. So if you're depending on your future self to just handle it, they're not going to do anything different than you except come to the same moment you are right now where you're realizing, okay, I'm going to do something about this. Number 3, this is something that really can save your life in other ways. Energy flows where focus goes. I got my motorcycle license a few years ago, just for the heck of it. Got a motorcycle, literally rode it probably, I think it was like 3 months, and then I got rid of it because I realized this thing is a death trap. It's like sitting on a rocket. And I wanted to have kids, have a family, not die so early. And my instructor basically gave me this powerful lesson that just stuck with me. He said 2 things. First one was, on a motorcycle, you are 33 times more likely to get in an accident. So it's not a matter of if you get in an accident, but when you do. And the second thing he did was he taught me a technique that was crucial if you wanted to survive on a motorcycle. And it really surprised me. He said, if you ever see a pothole or something in the middle of the road, what do? And we all responded, well, you look at it and you try and get around it. He said, never do that. Never look at it. If you look at it, you're going to attract it and go that way. And I've tried this with Mario Kart, and it actually honestly works. So your goal is actually not to look at the thing, but to the side of the thing. And you will actually go that way, because where energy flows, focus goes. And we tend to do this a lot with our mindsets as well. If you focus on the things that you don't have, you're not enough of, or you're not where you want to be, you're going to continue building that. That's going to be a habit, and it's going to be hard to break. And it's going to be your new autopilot. You're not even going to think about it. It's just going to be who you are. Now, this isn't to say you just want to focus on what you're doing right and all the positives only, because that's naive, right? That keeps you in the dark just as much. So if I could make a formula out of that, I'd say put 80% of your focus into the positives, the things that are constructive, that's supportive, and then 20% on the negatives, where you're just acknowledging things around you and what you're doing and things that can go wrong, the consequences. Put that together and it will help you so much. It's very important that you have high energy if you want to maintain consistency. Number 4, this one's really important. Redefine purpose. Now, this is just me, but this has helped me a lot to see the things this way. But the point of life is not to be happy, and it is not to get things done. Yes, you should be happy. Do whatever you can to be happy and get things done. But just know that if the purpose of your life is to be happy, then the days you're not happy, you are living a purposeless life. Doesn't make sense, right? In the days that you're relaxing, just hanging out with family, not really getting much done, you're living a purposeless life? That doesn't make any sense. So instead of making that the main reason you exist, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but really think about how much you think about work, how much you think about accomplishing things, and how little you think of yourself when you don't. So think of being happy as a choice and as a tool. And same with productivity. Being productive is a choice and a tool. It helps you progress towards a goal. That's all it is. And happiness, it's a state of mind. It is an attitude. It is something you can do right now, even if times are hard. It doesn't mean it's easy to do, but it's something that you have the choice to do. You have the power to do. Don't give your power away by saying that you're not happy or productive if you don't do everything off your checklist. Most of my clients set their expectations extremely high, and then they're screwing themselves over because they can't reach it. It's better to start low and work up from there than to start high, somewhere you can't reach no matter what you do, and then just cry at the end of the day and do a bucket of ice cream. Why not use ice cream as a reward? I'm just saying, you can do it. Because I know for me, when I wouldn't hit my goals after setting such high expectations, I'd feel unworthy of life. I would feel like a loser, like I was a failure, like I wasn't accomplishing anything, and it was so stupid, and I would just totally forget about everything else that was going well in my life and the things that really mattered. Family, people I love, my health, just acknowledging the leaves on the trees, how beautiful nature is, and just everything that actually matters in my life. Leaves matter. Oh my gosh. So my message here is you are not a checklist. You do not have to get a single thing done today to have any value at all. Create some boundaries for yourself because you deserve that. Make everything you do a plus because you could easily just be sitting in bed doing nothing all day, every day if you wanted to. Everything else is a plus. The next thing that's really important is to like and subscribe. It's part of the formula. And here is number 5. Let go of the to-do list identity. You can try to be productive. You can be happy. You can make all these choices, check off all the things off your to-do list. But sometimes we go overboard and we do it at the expense of ourselves. So it's important to ask yourself, but at what cost? Because there is a line that needs to be drawn. And if you don't draw it, you're going to cross it, whether you realize it or not. If you watch this video up here, you'll see a lot of accomplished people that have ADHD and what they've done. And many of them didn't finish what was on their to-do list because to-do lists aren't meant to always be done. A lot of times they're just meant to be notes of what you're thinking in the moment, where you have to be, what you have to do. But those things can change at all times. I know when I go through my to-do list, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I don't need to do any of these anymore. I never even did them, but I did this one move that was worth 10 moves, or something changed in my life. There's also big, huge tasks like go to college is right next to get mail. It's kind of like, unless it's graduation day, I don't think that's going to happen. Let me just say this. There's nothing expected of you today but to exist and grow as a person. Everything else is a cherry on top. You're going to grow in the future, but you'll never learn that if you keep telling yourself, I didn't get enough done today. And you treat yourself like a to-do list, or you do things at your own expense so much that you're losing yourself in the process. And even if you finished everything on your to-do list today, you're going to have more tomorrow. So you might as well make that an enjoyable process. Don't let the future get in the way of the most special and important things and people in your life. The moments in your life that you'll look back on an old age where you'll say, I wish I spent more time just focusing on my family, what I did have, how much I've grown over the years. You are worth so much more than you give yourself credit for. Make right now the moment where you turn everything around in your mind that's been causing you to stress more, to be more anxious, to get less sleep at night, and restart your day as someone you deserve to be. If you like this video, you're really going to like this video right here where I actually coach you through the process of making your own sleep routine and 70 things I've tried to fall asleep and get better sleep quality. Later, neighbors.